Okay, good. It's so cold. So cold. I just got to jump. I'm going to warm myself up.
You not got thermals on today?
I have got. Hello, crawlers, and welcome to Historic Pub Crawls, where I take you on a journey through towns and cities across the world, show you the sights, the places, the people, and most importantly, the pubs and the pints. Now, after exploring London, all across England, Scotland and Ireland, and some places in the States as well for my best-selling books, I have listened to you, and thanks to my good friends at On the Beach, I've taken a trip to prove that you can do more than just go for the sunshine to come to possibly the coldest place on the planet right now, which is the wonderful city of Prague. Obviously, I've got this fantastic astronomical clock behind me. It's one of the most visited tourist spots in the city. If you come with me, Luke, I'll show you just where we're starting our crawl. And I wanted to start here just to show you what to expect and what you're going to see throughout the next hour or so on this video. Because you might not know, but this city is one of the oldest in Europe, and it was once the capital of the Holy Roman Empire. So as you can expect, the place is full of these beautiful, stunning, grand buildings and churches. Right, now I did say I was going to go straight to the next pub, but we decided to walk it just to check out the area because there is just so much to see here, and of course a chance to walk across Charles Bridge in daylight to the foot of the castle, which is over there. Now, I don't know quite how this video is going to work for what you're going to see, but what we're going to do is we're going to shoot loads and loads of footage to make sure that we don't miss a thing. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We know that it's going to start getting dark in a couple of hours. We've got quite a lot of places to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to be going to the pubs tonight. We're going to be getting some drinks, we get some food and show you the places, but also we will have the chance to walk the route tomorrow in daylight. And so what you might see over the course of this video is a lot of chopping and changing from daytime to nighttime, just to make sure that we can give you the best places. Now, it might not work like that. It might work perfectly, but things don't always go to plan on a pub crawl that involves 12 amazing places. So, I could stand here all day jib-jabbering. The wind whistling off this water is arctic. My ears are already nearly going to fall off. And we've no time for that. We've got pubs to go to. Heading to pub number 1. It's going to be interesting to work out how I'm going to say some of these names. So I'm going to shoot some footage inside the pub and explain to you, hopefully, well, I know what the name means. I just don't know how to say it.
Start at the castle and down the hill to the best pub crawl in Prague.
Well, stick around if you want to see this Londoner do his best to not ignorantly butcher all of the pubs that I'm going to see on the Prague route, because this is, well, I'm going to go in and figure it out because it's number 1 on the Prague route. Let's go and get that first, probably cold, drink of the day.
Its name, meaning at the Black Ox, is one of the city's oldest continually operating pubs, which claims to date back to around the 1720s, when a lack of literacy meant that inns and houses were often identified by painted signs and symbols. Now, although it's located in an area that is historically associated with craftsmen, clerics and servants from the nearby castle and aristocratic residents, it was primarily a beer hall for the working class labourers, mostly involved in the construction and maintenance of this old castle that dates back over 1,000 years.
But where there's a bar, there's a beer.
And I quickly learnt that if I was going to enjoy my drinks in Prague, I'd have to accept more than a little bit of head. But we can't be stopping when we've got to crawl.
Well, here I am in what I have now found out is U Černého, which, to the less informed verse, actually means the Black Ox, or more literally, at the Black Ox. And there's a few giveaways for that. Now, what is quite interesting with these place names, as we're going to find out as we go along, is a lot of them have that U at the start of the name, whereas in England it's the Red Lion or the King's Arms, or the Crown and Treaty, all those kind of things. But here, they don't say the Black Ox. The pub is called At the Black Ox. So most of the places that we go to have got that U in it, but I am going to smash my way through the first freezing cold pint of the day. Okay, on to pub number 2, but I just want to show you this view. It's a fantastic view. I did underestimate this a bit. I would recommend, it's a fantastic place to start this journey because we're going to walk downhill now into the city, but it was a bit of a slip to get up here. That is the Old Town Square there, but I'm going to go just down these, look at these steps here. It reminds me a little bit of Aberdeen, but smaller and even colder. Much nicer going down these than going up them, I'll tell you that. Right, gonna head to pub number 2. It is called, well, I'm going to say the name now, and then I'm going to find out the name and tell you the name when we're in the pub. I'm going to guess this is U Dvou slunců. Not sure. Anyway, hopefully Miroslav, who we're going to meet there for a beer, is going to explain, and then if I'm lucky, he might be my guide for a little bit to try and translate, because, yeah. We're slightly outside of the main touristy part now. It's fun. Right, let's go.
Without local knowledge of Prague, I'd have never discovered this hidden gem.
Look, I'm really going to struggle with these names. I've got Miroslav here to help me. Come on, just tell me, Miroslav. This is pub number 2 on the Prague route. It's the Two Sons, but how do we say it?
U Dvou slunců.
Okay, should we go and get a beer? All right, let's go get a beer.
Translated as At the Two Sons, this small and sparsely decorated boozer is most notable for its association with writer Jan Neruda, who was believed to have lived nearby between 1845 and 1857. This prominent journalist, poet and art critic immortalised the building under its current name in his short story collection Tales of the Lesser Quarter in 1877. But that's not why we're here. We're here for beer. And it was a cold glass of the good stuff before it was out to check out this city that was once the capital of the Holy Roman Empire. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss.
I've learned something new with these beers because look, that header's, I pretty much drunk it all. Now, they tell me that that's the way it should be drunk. I don't know how much of that I've quite polished off, but it's pretty good. We're going to walk down the hill now and probably have a look. Hopefully I'm going to see the castle. That might be the castle just there. I'm going to check that out.
Moment, you know, in the season. But the prices are not so high like somewhere in the center
yeah,
of the...
we're a little bit out, aren't
like
we?
where the clock is, it's awful. Yeah, this is
Yes.
quite friendly, and some Czech people don't forgot and don't coming here, which is like not good, because why not? It's not so expensive here. As a student in the 80s, there up to the hill there's a campus, and we were like running down, having one beer in every good pub. And this was the first stop always. Some disappeared, some still exist.
All of these buildings are so beautiful.
Yeah, it's like
everything.
National Museum.
But these were all of the houses that were 17 something, 16th, 17th century.
Mostly.
And that's why all of the pubs have got like the signs, because no one could read, so they had the signs. That's the same way that our pubs were.
Okay. Like most of these houses they are called palaces because like aristocrats built it to be close to the Prague Castle where king was. Like
yes, and that's we can't see that. That's just a street along, isn't it?
Which is like a concept is like architecture concept is quite simple. On the top there's a king, and down there's an aristocratic circle, and then down there are people. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, so that was like a kind of authority. Like
right. So we're walking our way down to where the peasants are.
Yeah.
Except that where the peasants are will now be the tourist. That's where the tourist place is, and that's where the beer will be the most expensive.
1 year in London, and in that time, pint of lager was 1.20.
Yeah.
And close to Birmingham, I found 1 pint of lager, 99p.
Yes, not anymore. This is beautiful. This is the Italian
embassy. Yeah.
It's very grand. Look at this entrance to the Italian embassy. Look at that. If it was the US one, I think you know who would have painted it gold.
It's over here, the US one.
Is it? Okay.
Like it was kind of one of this, like a typical palace, but I don't know which aristocrat had it, Clam Dallas or, someone.
A stunning cathedral is a sensational neighbour to this tiny Prague boozer.
U Kocoura, which means the Tomcat, and that's pub number 3 on our Prague route. Let's go and get beer.
Considered one of the most important Baroque churches in Central Europe, mainly for its innovative architecture and opulent interior, St. Nicholas Church started construction in 1704, taking over 50 years to finish before welcoming Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart to play the massive organ here just 20 years after. But we've no time for that. We've got pubs to go to. And this tiny little tavern with its bare walls filled with locals is believed to date back to the 15th century. Its name means at the Tomcat, and it navigated periods of tightening imperial regulations, particularly during Empress Maria Theresa's alcohol reforms of the 1750s, by remaining a low-key neighbourhood pub. So who better to cheers than one of the locals? Next time you're near, stop here for a beer.
Out the window there, this, I think, is the St. Nicholas Church. I'm gonna ask him if is this the St. Nicholas Church?
Yes,
This is the beautiful one. Yeah. Really beautiful. This is one. It is not easy around here for anyone that wants to be on a bike. You do not see these electric scooters around here either. We're heading up towards the castle, just behind here. Now, there's been a castle here since 880. Was a really significant castle, really significant part of the world actually, Prague, around about this time, because the kind of ruling family, the ruling family from some of the areas and territories around here basically settled on Prague and turned it into the development that it has been. And the key thing for that was really in the 14th century when Charles IV, who we'll hear a lot about because a lot of the buildings were either commissioned by him or in honour of him, that was where they found the most importance, because he was actually the head of the Holy Roman Empire. So of course when we think about Romans, we often just think of Rome, and we think of Italy, and then for the English we think about them invading and getting as far as Hadrian Wall and seeing Scotland and going, nope. Well, it was here for a long time that was the centre of, really at that time, the world as we know it in the West. You know, the first university north of the Alps was opened around here. There's been, countless wars, as you can imagine, but also it was a significant city for trade with the East, so with the Islamic world, and particularly like the supplies that you would get from minerals like silver, or you would get, there were furs as well, and slaves. They came from all over the world, slaves, and a lot went through Prague as the hub of that. But of course, let's lighten the mood and go and get a beer in pub number 4. So this place translates as the King of Brabant, which refers to John of Luxembourg, who was also he had a bunch of titles, the King of Bohemia, the title of the Duke of Brabant, and he was rumoured to have frequented this pub in the late 14th century, because the sign outside very proudly says this is Prague's oldest pub, founded in 1375, and I've got to say that if that's true, I don't like to let the truth get in the way of a good story, that would also make it one of the oldest in the world. I mean, it's not really surprising given that we're sitting underneath all of these skulls. They're not real, otherwise this would never make it on YouTube. But it was a rough pub. There were a lot of mercenaries and soldiers from the nearby castle that would be here. But despite that, even when there was the 30 Years' War, this place would serve both the imperial and the Protestant soldiers. So I suppose in one way it was quite welcoming to include everyone, but quite negatively, they used to just fight and kill each other in here. These days, it's quite medieval themed. I'm coming back here in a few days' time because I think they're going to give us a bunch of food, which will be really exciting. But for now, we're going to start making a move down into the famous sort of central part of Prague, where we have the bridge, which we're about to cross, and then also some of the sites, as well as some of the other more touristy places that you might recognise. And coming up as well, I will also tell you a little bit more about how I managed to get out here to film this, talk to you a little bit about the wonderful partners who support me to come here, and tell you about these books, which is where you are going to be able to follow this route yourself. One day, that's the plan.
You absolutely cannot miss this sensational pub.
It's U Krále Brabantského, and it is pub number 4 on the Prague route. And look at this. It's one of the oldest, 1375. Let's go and get a beer.
This medieval experience is named the King of Brabant, which refers to John of Luxembourg, who was rumoured to have frequented a pub on this site as far back as the late 14th century. In its early years, it developed a fearsome reputation as 16th century mercenaries, soldiers and duelling nobles passed by between the town and the castle, as well as serving military from both sides of the 30 Years' War. It really came into its own from the 18th century, when it developed a medieval themed interior and began to cater to more theatrical traditions, surviving communist rule and being further renovated in the 1970s. And whilst we're here for the beer, I was hosted in the deep dark catacombs to a meat-heavy medieval feast you could only eat with your hands. And whilst I'd love to show you everything that happened, was a lot of fire, music and combat in a tiny space that made this dangerous experience feel even more thrilling. Be brave, get here for the spirits and beer.
See, I've been told that we've got to check out the British Embassy, and Mira just said, would I recognise it? I think the bust of Churchill's going to give it away. And I'm reliably informed, even though you wouldn't necessarily know it was the British Embassy before, like, you can just walk straight through here and you're into what, the palace grounds? Straight
Up to hill.
Up the hill into the palace grounds. Unsurprisingly, the best place to have a party in Prague. But that's not why we're here. We're here for beer, and we're going to walk over Charles Bridge, which will be the next thing that you'll see me talking on, and then it will be on to the next pub.
Want to have a beer there?
No, we need to know. We can't. This is a secret pub that's just for locals.
Yeah, okay.
You just told me all the MPs
Yeah, but
drinking.
you
Have I only done 4 pubs?
4 pubs.
Well, I think that will be the shot that's doing the damage there, then, isn't it? That was so unnecessary. I mean, it's not even warming me up. Like, I am freezing cold here. But we are, of course, standing on the famous Charles Bridge, which was constructed in 1357. And bridges were especially significant to Prague because of its place on the river that means in Old Germanic wild waters, because look how powerful that looks. And so the ruling leaders, I suppose royalty, controlled the flow of trade by only having a couple of bridges across. I mean, I'm telling someone who's from Prague this, they know this already. But what is really interesting, who knows what a palindrome is? Something that reads the same forwards and backwards. And the reason I mention it is that construction for this started at 5:31 in the morning on the 9th of July, 1357, which reads the same forwards and backwards. So work that one out. Now, it took 40 years pretty much to complete it, to replace another one, but there is a lot going on here, as well as it just being like this bridge being so famous. We've got the bridge tower, So the Black Tower at the end there, we might have a look at that. In fact, let's walk. Shall we walk and talk? Walk and talk. So we've got the famous Black Tower up here. It was very deliberately, as we get closer, and a lot of this is on the bridge, by the way, it's very deliberately and explicitly political. Charles IV did that on purpose, basically to elevate the royalty over the people and the peasants into like divinity. So it is basically swinging your biggest dick as much as you could, and that's what that looked like back in the 14th century. This is pretty rare because Prague has been the site of a few wars, so certainly the 30 Years' War was something that was a very significant battle or conflict between the imperialists and the Protestants. You had the Hussite Wars as well. But after the Battle of White Mountain in 1621, the severed heads of the 12 defeated leaders of the Bohemian Revolt were displayed on that tower as a warning to any other rebels. Now, how long do you think that the heads were on there for?
A year.
A year?
2 years.
2 years? 10 years. They left the heads of the defeated rebels on there for 10 years. That's just revolting, isn't it? Clementium over here, the entire city block, which is basically where the college was founded over here. I'm not sure that we'll see that right now because I'm about to come under this tower and take a right alongside the river. We're going to go to the Prague Beer Museum and then we're going to head down the river. God, it's cold. I mean, it's really cold. I've walked around New York when it was -17 wind chill, but this is really cold. So I don't think I'm even going to be able to tell you much about Dimitar Blagoev. We've seen that? He's got to get his glasses to this one.
I need glasses.
The Marxist theorist, Dimitar Blagoev. His statue is down here somewhere. He's one of the few communists that are still immortalised in a sculpture. But we've no time for that. We've got pubs to go to.
But yeah, Czechs will, like there's some Czech people that will for real be upset if you give them a Pilsner and the foam is like above, like here, for example.
Right.
If you're,
Okay.
you'll have Czechs that are upset about that, you know?
Right.
If you give a Czech a Pilsner that's a full, like just beer until here, you know, they'll
They don't know.
spill it on your head, you know?
So it's a constant balancing act between locals and tourists.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, we should-
It's a dark.
Yeah, okay.
3.8%, it's not very strong. Right there. Yeah. It's a nice beer.
Beautiful looking.
Which one did you like more out of the two darks?
It's got a kick. There's something in it.
The 10.5% alcohol.
Oh yeah, that's
probably.
a 10.5. Hang on a minute. That's a 10.5 one. That's why that's got a kick.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, how many times do you just get up getting wasted?
Well, we're gonna see how we go. I mean, this
Yeah.
is number what, 6?
Okay.
5. No, it's not 5. Oh, it's 5. And we just went to one place where they gave me a shot of. They were like, it's a special local shot that only locals know about. It's a secret shot, which sounds like the most dodgy thing that you'd ever have. It smelled like paint stripper mixed with battery acid. Good pub crawl is a good walk discovering a place. Like, there's always a good walk between destinations so that you can get a bit of breath of fresh air.
Yeah. It's a Hubertus. It's a plain lager, you know. It's a plain lager. This has a bit of a bitter sort of kick to it, in my opinion. It's called a demon.
A demon?
Demon. They call it demon. I don't know why. It's not scary.
Yeah, nothing scary about that. That is
not a scary beer at all.
Infinitely drinkable, by the way.
Yeah.
One of my favourite pubs in the world is Sawley's in New York.
Okay.
And they serve 2 beers. They serve a light and a dark. That's it. For anyone who is not a beer aficionado or craft beer enthusiast, well done for sticking around this long, because you've done a great job. We've still got another 5 to go. We'll whiz through those. I mean, this really is like the place to come.
When it's summertime, we have a full garden here. And it's beautiful with the view there, with the Charles Bridge. We have live music playing here also.
Okay.
Quite frequently, we have live music. Family-run place, you know? It's kind of like, I can't help but be a part of it.
Why did your dad do this?
Well, he was always interested in working for himself. You know, he worked in a factory for a little bit. Because he grew up in a very poor area in Serbia, right? They were just, nobody had any money, you know? He's significantly older than I am. He's 68, I'm 22, you know? So there's a big generational difference there, you know? But I understand him. There was some charm that I always felt about a bar. So you yourself are directly responsible for the nights of certain people, you know? People create memories there. There's something about that.
I love that. That's fun. And of course, who wants to have a boss? That's also a great thing.
Yeah, I know. I got expelled from like middle schools and stuff. I can't. I'm the same, man.
It's a wonderful thing to be able to try so many different.
Actually, I don't think flights were, at least here in the center of Prague, there wasn't really a thing like 15 years ago. I'm pretty sure my father was the one who started with them here.
I have just been given 15 beers. I mean, this is literally the definition of
Lucky bastard. The widest arrangement of flavored beers. So they'll do anything from banana flavored to like chocolate flavored beers, like a dark chocolate flavored beer.
I love like a really dark, like stout, chocolatey, like basically like almost like a mochaccino kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, and then those change every week. We have a different flavor every week because they have such a wide selection of them.
We've had 3 flights, 15 different beers, told us through the lot. I thought that was brilliant.
Glad to make it happen.
Yeah, no, I loved it, man. Thank you so much, dude.
Nice to meet you.
It's easy to miss Prague's biggest beer selection.
It's the Prague Beer Museum, and it's number 5 on the, well, unsurprisingly, the Prague route. Let's go and get a beer.
But first we had to get there, and it was over the famous Charles Bridge. That's construction started on the precise date and time of 5:31 a.m. on the 9th of July 1357 to align with the astrologically important palindromic sequence through the gates of the tower and past the statue of the man himself. Now this reasonably modern pub was open to the public in 2014, whether the building is on a series of medieval cellars that date to between the 13th and 15th centuries. And where there's a bar, there's a beer. So I got to try this huge selection that focused on Czech brewing traditions and particularly the development of bottom fermented lager during the 19th century, which transformed beer globally and created the first cold pilsner, unlocking the lager boom. But there was so much more to see through this building, set across several floors, before polishing off that monster selection this early in the route meant it was getting late and cold, and it was time to pick out something subtle to blend in with the locals and prevent my limited amount of brain cells from freezing. Next time you're near, stop here for a beer.
Prague in January is very, very cold, and when you're in the back streets exploring the old pubs, and the only place you can go to is a random tourist spot, how do you like my lovely pretty pink gloves and my very, very bright red hat? Because you'll be seeing more of that, because there is absolutely no way this is coming off my head anytime. It's a little bit small for me, it's wedged on, but it is keeping me warm. We're going to go to what is probably the most famous pub in Prague. That's the one coming next.
When I asked for your advice, this was the #1 tip on my trip to Prague.
How could we not stop in to U Fleků and your mama too? One of the oldest in Prague. Let's go.
It claims to have been operating since 1499, when it served as both a brewery and a malt house before the traditional dark beer was replaced by the more popular Pilsner. And it gets its name from Jakub Flekowski, who was a maltster who acquired the property in 1762, and its sign of a walking stick associated his name into Czech slang. That's not why we're here for beer. And although all of my routes are walkable within a few hours, overdoing it the night before and the misconception that when I booked this through on the beach, it wouldn't be quite as arctically freezing as it actually was, Luke and I returned the next morning for a breakfast of pork knuckle before some somehow being convinced to warm up with shots of the local speciality. Who cares where you're from when this is the destination?
I love the way that this hat has destroyed my hair. But my head was really cold. And I will say, my gloves are also so pretty. So I'd love to be able to tell you more about this pub, but frankly, I don't know very much about it. The beauty of these routes, when I'm walking through these towns and cities, is often you will get tips from locals as you go through the pub saying you definitely must come to this place. Now, this apparently is the best Pilsner you'll get anywhere in Prague. Every single person here is a local. This is a proper locals, non-advertised pub anywhere. This is a proper drinking place. Like, people are just drinking. I will find out if there's some history, and if I do find out that there's some history, that's what you'll hear about both in the book and also in the short video that I put up specifically about this pub. But for now, well, I was going to say I'm just going to enjoy the Pilsner, but kind of already have. Cheers.
Sometimes I feel like a fraud calling this a job because it's just so good to find hidden gems like this.
Jelínkova, which is pub number 7 on the Prague route. Let's go in, get a beer.
Now, I've got to admit, this wasn't even on my radar when I rocked up in the city looking to create a route that shows all the different types of pubs and places in this beautiful romantic destination that's seen both conflict, ruled the once mighty Holy Roman Empire, and been a vital trade route from Western Europe to the Islamic world and beyond. And where there's a bar, there's a beer, as this loud and lively hall, packed full of locals, has been here since 1911 and was once a popular spot for the satirical novelist Jaroslav Hasek, who wrote The Good Soldier Švec, which is the most translated Czech novel of all time. It was also here where actor Jan Werich drank with writer Vladimir Skutina, who, after insulting the then President Antonin Novotny, was incarcerated for 16 months. But we've no time for that. We've got pubs to go to.
This is some of the beauty that we're finding out about Prague. But look at this. We just walked out of the pub onto the next one, and I've no idea what this is, but it looked like a shopping centre, like something. So I was like, come on, let's have a look. And look at it. Like, look at this lift. Is this a lift? Is this a shop? Like, this entire city is so beautiful. It is gorgeous. Everything about it is gorgeous. I can't believe that the next place that we're about to go to is going to be a German pub, where it's going to be like a beer hall. But we are hungry now, and I could definitely do with a pretzel, and maybe a bratwurst.
And you guess what I did to get slapped like this?
Okay, I'm just about to walk into this Prague pub wearing a communist hat, pink gloves, and call it a German beer hall, even though we all know it's Bavarian. Honestly, I'm not that offensive. I'm just rage baiting you, internet. It is Oktoberfest. It's pub number 8 on our Prague route, and I've heard it's pretty good, although someone's doing karaoke. Let me give you a clue as to who's going to be doing it later. Not me.
Let's address the elephant in the room, because obviously this is not Germany. But with 12 pubs on the route, it can be a lot of fun to find yourself in a tourist pub at the heart of one of the busiest cities in the world when it comes to stag and hen do's. And it's no surprise that you'll find them here, downstairs in a lively karaoke room that'll mean you're performing to a large audience. But that's not why we're here. We're here for beer. And this many pubs in, who's gonna turn down a nice, fat, juicy sausage? And before you say it, that wasn't what I was offering, as the barmaid convinced me to try their house speciality known as the slap shot, which meant as I was reeling from the eye-watering level of alcohol, she threw a glass of water on me and hit me much harder than I'd expected. So it certainly wasn't fair that she chased me for afters.
It was bound to happen at some point, wasn't it? Where are we? At pub number 8. Pub number 8. 7 or 8. 8, I think. And eating is definitely not cheating. Add malt on the hop. Well, I just lost my taste buds. But of course, what a place to stop. In Prague, German beer hall, there's karaoke downstairs, we've got a guy singing up here, we've got Pilsner and a Helles lager, and we have a currywurst, and then sausage 3 ways, and who doesn't like a big sausage, eh? We're going to get stuck into this, load up, before we start walking into the old town and sharing a bit more about that. I can't wait. But let's eat. We need to eat. Yes, I'll have a beer, please.
The dark one or the light one, the traditional house beer is the dark one there. It's cooking like 260 years. The light one just 5 years.
Do you want one?
Yeah, go on then, please. Hold the dark, please.
Yeah, one of each then, please. Thank you. Well, if this was musical theatre, you might call this the interval, which is why we're going a little bit Inception, where everything's a video within a video within a video as we continue to explore Prague. Now, what you have just seen is... What? Oh, my hat's on the floor. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Well, it probably should be on the floor. This is so offensive. But as you've seen, we started the route towards Prague Castle and then came over the river. So normally we try and shoot these routes within one day, but there's a lot to discover here. We turned up late last night and I didn't want you to miss out on seeing things. Now, we've walked a little bit further south to probably one of the most famous old pubs, U Fleků. U Fleků. One of these days I'll get them right. But it was so busy last night that we decided to start today's filming here. So we still have 5 more pubs to film, and we're taking our time on this route because I really want you to discover the places, not the people here. So I want you to see everywhere that we are. As you can see, look, we're here, look, it's empty. And there's a reason for that. It's early in the morning. They've literally just opened up and we've walked in. And I thought it would be a nice idea for us to get breakfast, regroup, just make sure that we're comfortable with the rest of the pubs that we have on the crawl, because whilst usually I'm filming a route that you can find in one of my books, and therefore it's predetermined and we know exactly where we're going to go and when, this is a bit of a journey of exploration as we go through Prague. So if we see somewhere that we like, especially, or we're recommended somewhere, which is one of the videos that you're going to see as well, coming up very shortly, then we'll try and include those. Now, I'll always do my best to do that. Now, this is quite a long way down, but we thought we'd come in and we thought we'd check it out. And we thought we'd maybe have a little bit of breakfast. It's a pretty punchy looking breakfast because we have 2 beers, 1 light, 1 dark, and we have been upsold these shots. So this is like a little honey shot of hell. It is at this time in the morning. An entire loaf of bread, even though we only fancied something a little bit light, and a pork knuckle, full, look, complete with the most amount of mustard. And I reckon that's probably horse. Oh, I'll put my finger in that. It's really gross, sorry. Yeah. Very strong horseradish. So what you're going to see over the next part of this video is the remainder of the Prague route. And then we're going to be walking through the old town so that you can see the old square. There'll be lots of statues we can look at. If we're lucky, we'll walk past the astronomical clock just as it starts to work its magic. But the crowds earlier were queuing. Like, it was absolutely rammed even 20 minutes before. So we'll wait and see about that. And we've got a few more pubs to come around there. So, should we get stuck into this? Yeah, breakfast. Pickles, pints and shots. Yeah, well, that's fine. Okay. Well, this is pub, well, we're coming up to pub, what have we decided this is now? 7, 8, 6, 7. It's pub number 8, I'm pretty sure this one is now. And that's the beauty of adventuring through Prague, so that we can help you discover some of the amazing places, so that when you get here, you've got a guide in your hand, and we've done the hard work, braved the cold like absolute heroes to show you some of the great places. Right, and that's why I make the routes, so that, you know, we come here, we brave it through what is now snowy weather. I can see snow falling, so that you don't have to be hanging around outside for too long, and you can be inside these amazing places. So this place actually opens at 3 o'clock today. It's much, much earlier on our route for our day's filming. And so I'm going to shoot over to some of the other pubs and show you some of those other places. And then you come back and we'll film this. And that will be the video that you're actually going to see next. Okay? Sound like a plan? All right, let's go. We feel like we're doing this a bit covertly, really, because I always ask for permission whenever we film. I think they very deliberately didn't understand English at all. So decided to show this anyway, because it is very historically important. This pub dates back to 1713, so it's very, very old. It's a proper traditional Czech pub where you come in and they're sitting you on these big long tables with loads of other folks, because we might have chopped and changed a little bit of the route of the filming, but we had to come back here after we shot the absinthe bar, which at some point in this video you're going to be seeing coming up in a bit, and it was magnificent. So we'll try and show a full video of this. Hopefully that's what you'll see next. Cheers. In Prague in the 1700s, they used to use signs to tell you the name of the pub. But I'm not quite sure where the stripes are, because that is the Golden Tiger, and it's pub number 9 on our Prague route. Let's go and get a pint.
And let's move past the hat and the gloves and accept that January in Prague is freezing cold. Now, this pub dates back to 1713 with a storied history of hosting the city's literary circles, and it hosted one of the best Czech writers of the 20th century, whose novels, despite being hundreds of pages long, were created using a single sentence each. But that's not why we're here. We're here for beer, and this legendary spot gained fame when on the 11th of January 1994, Czech President Václav Havel hosted the then US President Bill Clinton, which is not surprising because it's right at the heart of the action.
And so we come full circle and we are back at the famous square and the astrological clock, which is probably one of the most iconic sights that you're going to see in Prague. As you can see, I've done an excellent job of acquiring myself a hat to keep myself warm, but let's just not laugh at how comical it is, because my ears are quite toasty. And I have some lovely pink gloves as well, which I've taken off just so I can flick through the book and tell you a little bit more about this. Now, this was constructed, let's have a look. Okay, so, I mean, it's beautiful. It was installed in 1410. It's a 600-year-old clock. It looks beautiful. It's obviously been restored over time, but there is a very, very sinister tale to it, because after the calendar dial was added in 1419, the creator was blinded so as to prevent him from doing his work elsewhere. Basically, it's one of a kind, and they made sure of it. We did meet someone in the pub yesterday who did dispute that and said that actually what had happened was his hands were cut off. I will confirm one of those theories, and when it goes into the book, you'll find out what that is. But either way, it's hardly very, very pleasant. Like a lot of things that are 600 years old, it's pretty staggering that they still exist when you think of all of the stuff that could have happened. You've had the Jacobite Wars, the Hussite Wars here, the 30 Years' War. There's been a lot of conflict in this area. And also, when you think about what happened in the Second World War, very close to being burnt by the retreating Nazis. So somehow it's continued. It was restored in 1948, so that's why it looks as stunning as it is. It's not, lots of this will not actually be that old. But we are right in the heart of the old town square. which has been the centre of Prague really since the 12th century. And then because of that, because it stretches from medieval times and through the Middle Ages, unlike a lot of city centre squares, which are exactly that, they are a big square, this has kind of expanded gradually over time. So that's why it kind of gets, that's why it gets this higgledy-piggledy, uneven look, with all a mix of big roads and tiny little alleyways off it, you know, pedestrian areas over here, and then for some reason vans and cars driving all the way through. Now there are some absolutely gorgeous sites that we want to see here. We definitely want to have a look at St. Nicholas Church. So earlier in the video you would have seen the other St. Nicholas Church that we went to before one of the pubs, which was it was just sensational. It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Here is another beautiful church here, which was completed in 1737. It's been the main church, the main Czechoslovak Hussite church, but it did also used to host the Prague radio broadcasts during Second World War, when the actual studios, wherever they are, were under attack by the Nazis. Now you've got the two towers here dominating this skyline. These Gothic towers are from the Church of Our Lady. They are named Adam and Eve. See if we can work out, can we work out which one's which? Yeah, they look exactly the same to me, right? But they are named Adam and Eve, built in the 14th century. One is supposed to be, let's say, the man. One's a lady, and the man is supposed to be a little bit bigger and a little bit more dominant. I don't think I'm making it up. That one on the right does look a bit wider.
A little bit, yeah.
That was maybe just a little bit more thick set. There are some other beautiful buildings here. We've got lots of statues. We've already walked past like the Charles IV statue by the bridge. We've got, yeah, I mean, look, we've got, well, I mean, firstly, we've got a very big space which has been used for revolutions throughout time. I just want to show this one building, if we can see this one here, the Stork House. Which is bizarre because underneath this gorgeous building is a Thai massage parlour. Look at it. Look. There's certainly lots to see here. It's not too busy. It's a Friday afternoon now. It's not too busy, but it is Arctic conditions, and we're here in January when they would call this low season. And we've no time for that. We've got pubs to go to. So let's get to the next one.
Let's visit the city's oldest brewing house at the heart of its tourist hotspot.
It's at the Vulture, which is number 10 on our Prague city route. Let's go and see what all the hype is about.
But first we've got to get there, and it's past possibly the most iconic site in the city, an astrological clock installed onto the Old Town Hall in 1410, which makes it the oldest in the world that still operates. And it's the centrepiece of the Old Town Square, which developed from a market in the 12th century with its uneven, irregular shape surrounded by some of the most beautiful buildings you're likely to come across. Legend claims after it was completed, the creator was blinded and had his hands chopped off so he couldn't replicate his work anywhere else. But that's not why we're here. We're here for beer. And this former burger house has been the location of a jewellery factory, a printing house, a goldsmith's, and, going as far back as 1432, a brew house with a name that means at the Vulture, reflected by the near priceless statue, which was relocated in a secure courtyard to the rear. And you've got to get here early to see it this quiet, because as the tourists finish their walking trips, see the sights, or smash their way through some pork knuckles, they'll soon stumble into here, because where there's a bar, there's a beer.
Carl, I thought I'd have a quick look at this. It's just opposite the pub that we've just been to. The gallery of steel figures, 120 sculptures. We've got a couple of minions, Bugs Bunny. I mean, look, let's be cheeky and just have a quick look through the window. Let's see Darth Vader, yeah. Let's see little Yoda. that actually looks like Chewbacca. this, this is quite funny. But yeah, this is quite odd. These are just some of the things that you can see. And so let me just take a quick opportunity to thank you firstly for sticking around and watching this far along the video. You know, it's such an adventure coming to these different places, and as well as seeing all of the pubs and having some great beers, it's a fantastic chance to just go and see some stuff that you wouldn't necessarily spot or follow the tourist sites. And so, so let me just recapture why I started doing this. So in 2023, I self-published my first book, Historic Pub Crawls Through London, which was really a compilation of all of the routes that me and my friends had gone on every year for my birthday for about 20 years. Fast forward to now, and it is 2026, and I've published more books on London, England, Ireland, Scotland, even the US, and now we're here, thanks to our friends at On the Beach, experiencing a city break in one of the classic, beautiful European cities, and discovering Prague with you. And hopefully one day that will be sitting in another guide that, like me, you can put into the back of your pocket. The beauty of this is often we are discovering it alongside you when we make the video. And so as you can see, it's been a bit of a mess because whilst it's been pretty planned up and I know roughly where I'm coming and why, we've had some really great recommendations along the way. And so it's been changing as we go along. It seems strange because we're making this video in 2 parts, and that's because we wanted to really take our time on this route so that we can cover all of the places, you can see the details and you can see what's around. Normally, the routes are about 2 miles walk and they will take you about an hour, which is about what this would pace itself out to. It's a bit of an adventure now because it is 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm trying to find myself an absinthe bar. That sounds naughty, doesn't it? Let's have a look.
I could have filmed this once in a lifetime pub for hours and there'd still be something to see.
It's the Green Devil's Absinthe Bar and it's pub number 11 on the Prague route. Should we go and get some absinthe? Why not?
Opened in the late 1990s to capitalise on the revival of absinthe culture, which had been limited in Czech during communist rule and banned entirely to preserve the wine trades of France and Switzerland, this bar's interior is deliberately packed full of quirky items, surrealism, decadence, collectibles, scraps, and bric-a-brac that it's almost impossible to know where to look. So I grabbed a seat to take it all in before getting a sample of the 2 different ways that absinthe is prepared to make this notoriously strong drink seem in any way palatable. Pub number 11. So whilst I really could keep talking you through this, just sit back and see what you recognise. A quick shout out to On the Beach, who despite the name now do city breaks, and you can't get further away than walking along the sand and dipping your toes in the sea than escaping the Arctic cold of Prague in a basement bar full of crazy stuff like this.
But we can't be stopping when we've got to crawl. Oh, I will definitely say something in a minute. I am just, yeah. Well, the sign when we came down the stairs into this bar said it's in a 15th century cellar, so it does smell a little bit like that. It does smell a little bit, let's just say it smells reassuringly damp in here. And there is just so much stuff. Like, it's hard to comprehend. They must have been collecting stuff for years. They only opened in 1990. And I can't even believe that they've collected this much stuff within that time. What do you think these are? Like, they're like...
Probably old library letters.
Yeah, look at it, just... And we're going to get treated. So I'm going to get treated here to, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So why would you not come and have an absinthe? Now, it's quite a popular tourist spot. It's just a few yards from the main Old Town Square. So I have asked them, is this a place that locals come or tourists? There are some locals because it's such a famous and, well, just wonderfully eclectic absinthe bar. But also, if you're a tourist, you're probably staying really close by, so it's a place that you can pop in and see. Look at this.
There are two ways how to drink absinthe, Czech or French. We're gonna start with French because that's the most traditional, original way. Yeah, we need this fountain with iced water inside. Yeah, we use just 1 shot of absinthe.
Does it smell really strong, absinthe? Can I smell it? Does it smell?
Yeah, that smells really strong.
Oh, yeah, that does smell really strong.
You can feel alcohol in that.
Yeah, I can. No, my eyes could feel the alcohol in that.
That's the reason why we don't drink it pure, because it's very strong, very bitter, and not tasty. Yeah, that's why we do it like this. Yeah. So we've got special spoon to put a cube of sugar on it, and now we can start. That's easy. We just turn it on and drip water through sugar into your absinthe. Yeah, this way we're gonna dissolve it and mix it. Yeah, sugar is very traditional. It's just like with coffee. Makes it sweeter, more drinkable, but it's okay to drink it without sugar. Usually nicer with that.
Okay, nicer with sugar.
Yeah.
And this process takes a while to do?
Yeah, about minutes.
Okay.
It's better to do it slowly. You know, sugar is not the main reason why we add water. We actually need to get this chemical reaction. You may already see it. You see it becomes cloudy.
Oh, it's gone
milky.
cloudy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's why we need. That's why we add water, because all taste is hidden. Water activates essential oils in that. They change flavor and color. At the end, that's a different drink. Initially very bitter and not tasty. At the end, soft, smooth with complex. Smell it. It smells different now. Notice it's like licorice.
Yes.
It was a very harsh 65% drink. At the end, about 16. Yeah, and it's not bitter, as I said, complex herbal licorice
Yes,
flavor.
65% is intimidatingly strong. It's not going to be pleasant.
Yeah, that's why we don't drink real absinthe pure. It's not enjoyable. Yeah, and a lot of people think it has to be green, but it doesn't have to. It might be white, red, or yes, green. That's just different flavors. White is more licorice, slightly creamy. Green is herbal, and this one, red, has berries inside, so would be fruity.
What's the most popular?
Hard to tell, I would say green one, usually green type of absinthe, but you know, it depends.
What do you prefer?
Green as well.
Green as well.
Yeah, I prefer herbal flavor. But anyway, all of them are not nice from the start, and you have to dilute it with water. A lot of people imagine absinthe like this. Yeah, just compare it. Yeah, very greenish, very bright. So if it looks like this, that's a bad sign. Yeah, because it means it was colored. That's a natural green color.
Right, yeah.
That's just paintings.
Yes.
So they never put paintings into real absinthe. That thing is just a macerate. Let's say it's fake or half-made done absinthe.
The way to identify real absinthe is following this process. Someone follows this process and it goes cloudy.
Yeah,
So cloudy is the key, is it?
yeah. In 95% of cases,
Yes.
you may prove if you have real one or not just with dilution. you know.
Yes. Okay.
French style,
Yes.
200 years old,
Yeah.
still the most proper way to serve, to prepare
Okay.
absinthe.
And you just drink it like that now?
Yeah, now it's done. We just stir it to mix sugar and oils. And now it's good to go. Yeah, you drink it slowly, like a whiskey, sip by sip, because flavor is very intense.
Oh, it does smell very aniseed.
Yeah, absinthe is all about licorice taste. That's kind of specific.
I do like aniseed. I do like licorice.
So that's a perfect drink for you.
Although it took me a while to get back into liking it, because when I was younger, my brother and sister convinced my grandma that I really like licorice, all sorts of sweets. So every time it was a Christmas, she would buy 3 selection boxes of sweets, and they would be chocolates, 2 of chocolates, 1 of licorice. And I'd always watch as she had the 2 chocolate ones given to the other 2 while she handed me the licorice and said, "I know how much you like it." It's all right. It was. We got our own back on some of the stories we told her about what my brother got up to at university. Right, let's give this a... Well, I was not expecting it to be that mellow.
You know, taste is very powerful, very intensive, but in terms of alcohol, it's actually soft, you see?
It feels like there's more than just liquid, though. It feels like it is like velvety, like it's... I don't want to say like a medicine, but like it's like thick.
You can say
It's
that,
a thick,
actually.
it's like a thickness. Like it's like a... It's...
Agree. But the drink was a medicine from the start. It was invented by doctor. Yeah, these herbs what we have in absinthe, anise, fennel, wormwood, they're very typical in Mediterranean area, and people use them for medicine from ancient time. But just one guy, one doctor, at the end of 18th century, decided to put these herbs into strong alcohol, and that's how he created absinthe.
In the 90s, when I was sort of just starting to go to bars, and there were a few absinthe bars in London, and absinthe was very rare, and people would talk about absinthe as it was dangerous because it would make you hallucinate.
Yeah, that's a popular belief. Basically, we have one ingredient in absinthe that stick inside. That's a wormwood. Latin, absinthium. So it's a main ingredient. Without it, it's not an absinthe, it's something else.
Right.
And it has bad reputation. 100 years ago, people thought it makes you crazy. But guys, I'm telling you, that's scientifically not possible.
Yes.
I mean, if you go buy 1 kilo of this herb, eat it, nothing gonna happen to you.
Yes.
Yeah, we put it for flavor, and it has some effect. It produces neurotoxin. It affects your body, yes, but it's just making you more relaxed. So absinthe, like alcohol, might feel slightly different, especially if you had a couple of glasses. But in terms of hallucination, it's just like normal alcohol. These beliefs about hallucination, they come from the start of 20th century in France. You know, absinthe, it's more like a social drink, so everybody used to drink it, 1-2 glasses before dinner, or just to sit down somewhere, relax. But in France, they were crazy about absinthe, so they consumed it in a big quantities, and it was kind of problem. Year 1915, they sold 35 million liters of absinthe, just in France. And wine industry in France didn't like it. They put a lot of efforts into absinthe prohibition, they spread rumors, they even had murder case. Their guy brutally killed his wife with a shotgun after 1 glass, and they blame absinthe on that. Even though he had whiskey, beer, he was just very drunk before absinthe. Yeah, you're gonna drink 1 glass, let's see if you kill someone. Yeah. Wine industry was successful. The politician prohibited absinthe and told this version about hallucination.
Okay.
Not true.
Okay.
Not true. Now we know because it was a big rival. Everybody knew that.
So now you're going to show us what's the difference between, we've obviously had French style absinthe, the classic absinthe, the difference between a Czech absinthe then.
Yeah, it's gonna be, it was a Czech absinthe as well, it's just a different way of preparation.
Right, it's the,
Yeah.
okay, so that was the French way of preparing
Yeah,
absinthe, and this is the Czech way.
Yeah, Czech or Bohemian. So here we pour a little bit of absinthe through sugar and like this.
Who would have thought that it wouldn't be the French version that has the most flair?
Yeah, that thing is, that way of absinthe preparation is not that old-fashioned. It's about 40 years old. Yeah, that one is 200. And initially, it was a scam. You may call it a fraud. It was just a show for a tourist. You can light up nearly any absinthe. It will burn.
Yes.
But it usually makes no sense. You will destroy absinthe taste and waste alcohol.
Yeah, because that's the alcohol in there that's burning.
Yeah, exactly. Alcohol and herbs. Anise burns very well, actually. You might know sambuca.
I do love a sambuca, yes.
Yeah, they also set it on fire. because anise burn quite well. So initially it's just a show, but with time we invented few absinthe which are actually nicer if you prepare it this way. That's one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, why we prepare it differently? Because of wormwood inside. Yeah, this wormwood gives bitterness for flavor, and in that absinthe, for example, it's only 35 milligrams per liter. In this one, it's 100. Yeah, so more herbs, more intensive flavor, but that one gonna be bitter. Yeah, that's why we do all of this. We're going to counter bitterness.
Oh,
with
we've been so
sweetness of
cold
it.
in Prague over the last couple of days. Whoa! This isn't a fire risk in this place.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, there's just so many things.
I already burned my finger once. And if you do something like this, never pour it directly from bottom, okay?
Right,
It's gonna explode.
Will it go back up into the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, you may say it like this. Yeah, you might be hurt, so yeah. Always use jigger for that, like this. Yeah, so if we just add water into this one, that would be very bitter. That's why we're going to counter bitterness with sweetness of sugar.
Well, it's now caramel now, isn't it? Look, it's...
Yeah, that's what we need.
Smells nice.
Tastes even better.
You get a whole Michael Jackson on a Pepsi advert all of a sudden. And so, specifically in this bar, when people come here, is this the sort of show that you do for them? If people are coming and sitting down and they order, do you, because I saw a few trolleys, is this what you do? You'll bring it over, you'll give them a section, and then you'll prepare everything for them?
Yeah, that's the thing. We are kind of absent propaganda here. We want people to experience what is real absinthe, how we prepare it. We give them a little bit of history, stuff like this. Yeah, basically, if you come here, order absinthe, you're gonna get this experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bet you're almost always packed out in here, aren't you? Always busy?
now, sincerely, that's off season because it's a winter.
Yes.
But during summer or during Christmas Eve, that's just crazy. That's just crazy.
Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah.
But now that's the most calm part of the year, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. We caramelize all the sugar we need. Now, we don't have any alcohol left inside. We burn everything. I'm going to add main portion now. A bit more. And we quickly stop fire. Like this.
Okay, so the fact that we burnt so much off means that in itself is now what is diluting the absinthe, is it?
Yeah, we use some absinthe as a fuel to caramelize sugar, added main portion at the end. And now this is it.
I gotta say that the blackness within this cup looks like a bit hot. Look.
Careful.
It's a bit hot. It's a bit hot.
Yeah.
You can only hold that for so long.
The thing,
That's,
you see, that thing is still 80%.
yes.
It's literally painful to drink. That's why we're gonna dilute it as well anyway. Yeah, as I said, we don't drink absinthe pure. We want you to enjoy it, not to suffer. And you may see we're gonna be chemical reaction as
And
well.
will this cloud up again just like the other absinthe?
Yeah, it's gonna change color as well. This time it's gonna be dark from caramelized sugar, but anyway, it's gonna get very cloudy. That's what we need.
Yeah, look at the inside of this. Look. That doesn't look like something that you really want to drink, but it smells lovely.
It's just caramelized sugar.
Yeah, it's just caramelized sugar, it's just burnt sugar.
Nothing really to be scared about.
It's gone cloudy again as well, hasn't it? It's really changed.
Yeah. So these are two ways of absinthe preparation. Usually we use French. Yeah.
Is that the most popular here?
Yeah. It depends on absinthe, on specific absinthe, but 90% of them should be prepared French style.
the technique on what you prefer. It's a choice of technique depending on the absinthe that you're drinking.
Yeah, I will say so. Yeah. Yeah, Czech is the third largest producer. There are three main producers: France, Switzerland. These countries are birthplace of absinthe. Yeah, Czech is the third one. We also have quite history with that. We started to do it back at 19th century.
Do you think that would be cool enough? There was ice in that, so...
Yeah, I think let's leave it like this. If it's still strong for you, but the taste is too intensive, you may additionally dilute it yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, because we serve it with water.
Yeah.
You might be thirsty from herbs inside. And
But you think
might
as a
want to-
first case I should maybe give this a try just like this?
yes, sure. I think you're gonna
I
be
mean,
nice.
it looks like... it looks chocolate. It looks like chocolate. It's not going to taste like chocolate. That is lovely. That is intense.
So it's just a perfect drink for you if you like licorice. That's the best. Yeah, you may also drink a little bit of water between sipping just to clean your palate and feel flavor better. I would say you drink one glass like 15, 20 minutes. You can even drink it 1 hour if you want, up to you. But you never just rush it and you need to enjoy it.
Wow, that was brilliant. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed that.
My
Yeah,
pleasure.
top man. And thanks for all the history and the 2 different styles. I loved that. That was a great show. Okay, crawlers. That's the penultimate place finished. And now I'm heading to our final pub, the James Joyce, which was the first to pour a pint of Guinness in the newly formed Czech Republic. It's really close to the town centre, or it's really close to the city centre. Look, we can see just up here, that's Adam and Eve. So right near the old town square, that's, you know, less than a 5 minutes walk away. Behind me, I have the fantastically named Speculum Alchemy, which is a historic house and cellar complex. So this whole block is here, that dates from the late 16th century during the reign of Rudolph II, when it served as a laboratory. And I would, as with a bit of revisionist history, he received somewhat polarizing views of his time as a ruler. Either he was ineffectual as a ruler and probably the reason for the 30 Years' War and the devastation that caused, or he's highly revered as a patron of the art and science movement. So part of that was his devotion to the occult, led to the scientific revolution, and it attracted alchemists, astronomers, scientists from all across the world, all descending here on Prague. And so there's a couple of British mathematicians and astronomers, John Dee and Edward Kelly, were believed to be here, resident in Prague in the 1580s, 1590s. So what looks like a very insignificant building to just walk past, and I say insignificant because most of the buildings as you've seen in Prague are so gorgeous that it's hard to believe that was such a fundamental part of history. Well, anyway, I'm going to try and find the last pub. We're going to finish in an Irish pub because you can always get a pint of Guinness somewhere in the world, and we're going to go and find out how good the Guinness is going to be in a pub in Prague. Let's go and check it out.
This pub turned football hardman Vinnie Jones into a Manchester United fan.
It is the James Joyce, and it is the final pub on the Prague route. Let's go and get that elusive pint.
Well, it doesn't matter where you go in the world, you're almost always going to find an Irish pub. Despite the city being established as a fortified settlement around 880, before going on to control significant areas across Central Europe over the next 400 years, becoming the centre of the Holy Roman Empire and escaping Nazi occupation before falling under communist rule, there's always going to be a way to find yourself a pint of the black stuff. Because when this pub was established in late 1993, it claims to have poured the first pint of plain in the Czech Republic. And whilst there's no historical connection with the renowned writer it is named after, whose seminal work Ulysses tells of Leopold Bloom's quest to cross Dublin without passing a pub, it does have its own showbiz links, as the Manchester Bar a bunch of unwitting American tourists stumble into as they fumble their way across the continent for the coming-of-age comedy Euro Trip, which featured the late Michelle Trachtenberg. But who cares where you're from when this is the destination?
Well, thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video and joining me to explore the amazing pubs and places of Prague. And a special thank you to our friends at On the Beach who helped with this trip, proving that you don't just have to go away somewhere sunny, because this has been anything but sunny. It's been freezing cold, but it has been a fantastic way to explore. I've absolutely loved this journey. The walk is fantastic. It's taken 2 days to be here, immerse ourselves in Prague and understand the best places and also take some recommendations along the way. I think we found some really special pubs. It's a great walking route. It will be a fantastic chapter when we get round to putting that in the European book. Make sure that you like, subscribe and follow, and check out the playlists where you can see all the pubs in one place, and also the other channels where I share some of the behind the scenes stuff, as well as the individual videos of the 1,000+ pubs that I've been to since I started this channel in 2023. It's actually been very quiet for most of the time that I've been around here, because of course we filmed it over 2 days because there's been so much to cram in to share in a route that ultimately boils down to about a 1.5 mile walk and about an hour's worth of your time to go and check out all these places as well as the sites. When we walked into here, it was quiet. It's now got really lively. There's a big old bunch of lads here on a stag do. I'm going to see if any of them, I don't think, will you all say cheers with me, lads, if I go cheers? Here we go, look. So we're going to conclude our video by saying cheers with these lads on the stag do, because perfect for Prague. Here we go. Cheers, lads. Whee! Slunců! Slunců, beautiful stuff. There you go.
This is Europe's best pub crawl. But first we had to get there, and I jumped on a flight to the beautiful city of Prague that slides into my DMs more than any other whenever I ask you lovely people where I should go to next. And it's easy to see why this ancient city is so much more than a tourist trap, as it blends old drinking halls, rich medieval history, modernised tap rooms that go back hundreds of years, and quirky little backstreet bars. So I've got to admit that the freezing cold of winter was a shock to this pub crawler's system, as this city break is one of many that you can arrange through my pals at On the Beach. So with my roots of this simply stunning city that expanded in size, power and influence from the 10th century, when it was a key post on the trade routes that linked Western Europe to the Islamic world, before the 14th century reign of Charles IV saw it rise in its importance as the capital of the Holy Roman Empire. And whilst I don't think about that every day, I do think about the best pubs and places to go. And on both sides of the famous bridge, you can find a wonderful mix of places to grab a beer, often side by side with some of the most beautiful buildings you'll ever see. And whilst it is one for the tourists, as well as being popular for stag do's and hen parties, if love is in the air, it's a magical place to take a date as you soak in the history, particularly in the old town square, the buildings that surround it, and possibly the most iconic site in the city, the astronomical clock that still works after a staggering 600 100 years. So please keep an eye on my channels as I'll explore more, not just around Prague, but across Europe and work out what's the hype, where are the hidden gems, how to escape the tourist traps, and what you can do to get the best deal on your next city break. Because who cares where you're from when this is the destination?